Explanation of the mischief rule for a describe or explain question. So first of all, what is the mischief rule? Well, this is a rule that gives judges more discretion and flexibility than the other previous rules, so more discretion than the literal rule and the golden rule. It comes from Hayden's case, 1584, and there are 4 stages that you have to go through. So the first stage, number 1, what was the law before the act? Number 2, what was the mischief not covered? Number 3, what was the remedy put in place by Parliament? And number 4, what was the true reason for that remedy? So the courts should interpret the Act of Parliament so that it covers the gap in the law. 2 cases to back up the mischief rule. Smith and Hughes. So this is an interesting case. It was a crime for prostitutes to harass and try and attract men in a street or public place. So these are the words we have got to interpret: in a street or a public place. Now, these prostitutes were standing in the doorway and on the balcony. So using the literal rule, were they in a street or public place? No, because they were in the doorway and on a balcony. So they're not in a street or a public place. But the courts didn't want to use the literal rule. So they used the mischief rule. And they looked at, well, what was the law before this act? Well, there was no law. So men were being harassed. That was the mischief, that men were being harassed. So Parliament put in place this act that said it's a crime to harass men. And what was the reason for that? Well, the reason for the law is so that men could walk down the street and not be harassed by prostitutes. So therefore they said, well, they did actually Parliament intended for men not to be harassed, whether it's on the balcony, in a doorway, on the street. So these women were guilty. The next case for the mischief rule is the Royal College of Nursing. Now this involves the Abortion Act 1967. In this act, it said that pregnancy can be terminated by a registered medical practitioner. So those are the words that we are looking at. What is meant by a registered medical practitioner? Did it include nurses? The House of Lords said, and it was a 3-2 decision, so 3 judges said yes, it did include nurses, 2 judges said no, but because 3 said yes, majority decision, so nurses can perform abortions. The mischief that Parliament was trying to remedy were backstreet abortions. Women were getting horrible infections and dying. So the Abortion Act was put in place. So there was a gap in the law because there was no law allowing abortions. So when you talk about the cases, just make sure you link it to the mischief rule. What was the gap in the law? So what was Parliament trying to do? Well, Parliament was trying to remedy backstreet abortions. So nurses could help to carry out abortions.